You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Do you need a car? Been shopping only to be turned down because of bad credit, low credit, no credit, bankruptcy, or divorce? Guess what? Today's your lucky day, because now you can buy a car, truck, or SUV, just about any vehicle. It's true. Bad credit doesn't matter. No credit doesn't matter. Bankruptcy or divorce, it just doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, your job is your ticket to your new vehicle. We're Auto Credit Express, and we've helped thousands of people just like you. Antonio H. told us, great company, got me connected, and the day I went in, I drove off in the car I wanted. 100% worth your time. Need a car? Get started now and drive off as early as today. Just text FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911 right now to get started. That's FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911. Auto financing the easy way. Text FINANCE to 357-911.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your healthcare? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their healthcare. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your healthcare, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your healthcare while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, our family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
Welcome to FOOBAR, One Nation Under Foo, and I am your host, the lovely, the talented, the wonderful, the yada, 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 the Foo, humble. And the humble. And we are coming to you live from KLRN Radio, back at home where we belong, and we are still, though, in FOOBAR Studio. With me, as always, is the suspended and missing Amish guy, Orty Packard. Orty, how are you?
Oh, great. I'm just monkeying around here with the lesbian sex haiku book with illustrations of cats. How you doing?
You've been planning the monkey and the whole lesbian cat thing, haven't you?
Actually, no. I was looking at my notes. The very first note is about DeSantis. The very last note is the lesbian sex haiku book with illustrations of cats. And I just threw those two together. So
yeah. Well, at least it's not Bigfoot erotica. That works.
This week.
Hey, how's it going? It's good. Yeah, monkeying around. We can't be having any monkeying around because then that makes us giant racist,
Yeah, that's racist. How you doing, Foo?
I'm okay. I'm here, and I'm sober. Someone asked me if I was already drunk. I'm like, that's not nice. Do I sound like I'm drunk? And I'm like, wait, I'm not on the air yet. Maybe that's a problem. But no, I'm good. I'm drinking Gatorade because I'm completely dehydrated.
Oh, why?
I'm so glad you asked because you knew I wanted to complain about it. Both my children started middle school. They'll start next week, and so their open houses were like yesterday and today. Well, it's 105 freaking degrees here, basically, in the heat index. So yesterday, I take my daughter. She's going to be a 7th grader, and hers goes off without a hitch. It's awesome. Her teachers are rad. Her English teacher has, comic books on the shelf, so she's really excited. We do great. We get out to the car, and this asshole has blocked me into my parking space. 40 minutes later, this woman comes out. We sat out in 105-degree weather for 45 minutes waiting for this woman. I didn't kill her because my kids were with me and I was mad, but that's fine. Then we go back again to the same school today. Nobody blocked me in, but it was still 105 degrees. And my son was there, and I freaked out because my son looks like a middle schooler. He's my baby.
You're old.
Oh my God, it's not even about being old. This is my baby. And he's got his new haircut and he's, looking pretty cool. And I see these chicks checking my kid out and I'm like, bitch, back off. This is my baby. I'm like, wait, chill out, But it's already happening. I'm already freaking out that girls are looking at my son.
Because you're old.
I guess. I don't know. Is it a mom thing? But then I guess I don't get the same way with my daughter, but my husband's ready to kill anybody who looks at her sideways. So I guess it's a mom. That's what Dad's boy, daddy's girl. I don't know, but it freaked me out. So I had to go to the bathroom and cry so I didn't embarrass him. But then, we're done, and now I'm dehydrated. So,
okay.
Great. Yeah, it's great stuff. Good times.
Out here in the desert, it's been low 90s, and just been chilling with the donkeys. Yeah, I was thinking about it, in that everybody takes a break from Twitter from time to time. Mm-hmm. Just mine aren't self-imposed.
Yours are imposed by someone else.
Yeah, Twitter decides you need a break. That's what I figured out. Everybody else, they disappear for a week, 2 weeks. Hang on.
Everybody else needs breaks from Twitter. Twitter needs breaks from you. That's how that works.
That's exactly it. That's how this works. I should suspend you from the show for a week. Hey, that's great.
No, you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't, because then what the hell would you talk about her too?
I don't know. I just make fun of him the whole time he's not here to defend himself, which is what I'm doing on Twitter, by the way.
Yeah, I've seen. I can still read my notifications, you know.
I'm like, oh, he can't talk back. Nanner, nanner, nanner. It's really fun. It's a good time, yeah. Because, you know, when you're not around, everybody who hates you, like dog piles me. So I just like, all right, I'm going to dog you back. But no, it's all good. I'm great. It's, it was only 92 degrees, but the heat index, I was like 105 today and 107 yesterday. Yeah, a woman's lucky I didn't, kill her.
Yeah,
But my son, get this. So we're in the car, and I'm kind of trying not to be mad, but I'm angry. And my son's like, Mom, you're the better person. And I'm just like, don't say that's crap.
I've never known you to try to not be mad. That's like your default state. Ever since you were trapped in the theater for 30 years, that has been your default state since you got out. Not
around my kids, man. I try really hard to be mellow and laid back with my children because I don't want them to be raging lunatics like their mother. And
So they're not on Twitter.
Right, and they are not on Twitter, and they have been forbidden from social media. But yeah, my son's like, Mom, you're the better person. Because I'm like, I'm going to talk about this shit on the show tomorrow night. I'm going to drag that woman. And he's like, you're better than that, Mom. I'm like, God damn it. My 11-year-old's better than this than I am.
And you have just proven that you are not.
But I didn't really drag her like I really wanted to. Like, I didn't talk about what kind of car she drove.
You didn't give out her license plate number.
Which I do have. But,
Of course you do.
So... yeah, it's been exciting watching my babies grow up, and I'm just not Facebook sends you these things. 5 years ago, look how little your babies were. And it's like, oh, die in a fire. Don't show me that crap. I'm already emotional.
You still use Facebook?
I do, but only for personal stuff, like family and friends and shit. But people I like, they're there.
Okay.
Twitter is not for people I like. And speaking of people I don't like.
Hi, chat.
Hi, chat. Good to see you guys tonight. They like you a lot still.
No, I know. Well, you know why? Because absence makes the heart grow fond.
You desert them, and so they all love you.
I didn't desert them.
You did.
I've been put 40 days in the hole.
40 days and 40 nights.
Yeah,
something like that. But no, people I don't like. I'm seeing them attack other people, and so
yeah.
That's a good
segue.
That
in my notifications. That was a nice segue.
Hey,
I saw that in my notifications. Once again, the Buckley Club proves that once they're irrelevant, they have to stir some shit up. Wait, can we say? Yeah, they have to stir some
shit earlier, and so I think since we say shit for a good reason and a good cause,
Rick, did we get the disclaimer before the show this week?
Yeah, you know what? I kind of forgot about that. So, hey, folks, this show does have adult language. So, yeah. A little late now if you haven't figured it out, but just
adult,
up.
Yeah.
If you're
adult-ish,
it's not our fault.
Yeah, adult-ish.
Yeah. So
don't say shit anymore.
Yeah. Basically, they came out to stir it up again, and this time yeah.
Well, poor Selena Zito.
Yeah.
She is probably one of the nicest journalists you're ever going to talk to, because journalists usually aren't very pleasant anyway. And she apparently in her book talks about various, rural areas and talking to Trump supporters and in a way humanizing Trump supporters, I guess. And so
that's a cardinal sin.
Oh, how dare she treat them like human? But apparently, my echo. I think she's created people that aren't real. And they're accusing her of using elected or, they aren't real people because they're elected or they ran for office. And, they're doing what they always do when it's a conservative woman is they're like, okay, we have one little nugget that we think we can run with, and they run with it, and then they dogpile. And so poor Selena has had 6 days of this crap.
Has it been going on that long? Because it just got brought to my attention today.
Well, I had kind of seen some odds and ends about it because, they hate me enough to kind of cross my path every once in a while. But I saw it because Bethany Mandel and Seth Mandel, God love them both, decided to come out and really defend her. And Seth took so much crap. This is not a hill to die on. We thought better of you. And he's like, oh, screw yourselves. If you have the name of the guy who has all this evidence, send him my way. But this is an anonymous account who reeks of a sock of somebody that we won't say out loud. And they basically bunt cake. Basically what they have done, I spoke with her briefly. She has had 6 days of hell. She can't eat, she can't sleep. She is being bullied to the point of losing weight. And this is what this group of people does. And so I'm.
Well, yeah, they've gone after you. They've gone after Kim Ross. They've gone after Mo. Any female who says they're a conservative that isn't Jay Rubin.
It's bad, and it's interesting because I brought it out. I decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try and draw some fire, maybe give her a break. Because they hate me anyway, so I might as well give them a reason to be angry at somebody else. And so I jump in it, and I'm speaking to other people, other women I know who've been targeted. And so we all kind of jump in to try and kind of deflect and help Selena because, she really is a nice lady. And it just, they're not like that. You can't play that woman card. I'm like, bullshit. See, this is bad. They do pull this. They target mainly women. And I'm sorry, Jesse Kelly is not a chick. They do target him as well, but he might as well be a chick. I hope he hears that. But the point is that they do this with accounts that they think are too big, that shouldn't have any kind of presence. And I mean, you've got people from the Weekly Standard also doing this crap too.
It's Jim Swift. He's the same guy who, I wasn't even suspended 8 hours and he had to comment on it. So that they're all part of the same little DM group.
Well, yeah, they're all excited. They come dance on your bones when you've been suspended. And they have great joy in that I've lost my friend again. Because they're horrible people. And this, again, proves that it's not about a story. It's not about connecting. It's not about message. It is about destroying people who they disagree with, which is what it's always been about.
Yeah, and that's what, okay, this goes all the way back to their beef with the Misfits. And let's just call it what it is that...
Well, some people may not know who the Misfits are, so give them that.
Okay, so there were two... During the election, there were two... I don't even want to say competing blogs, but just ideologically slightly different. You had the Buckley Club, which pretended to be conservatives, but all they really did was just scold people and really push center leftist ideas, pretending that they were conservative. Then you had Misfits, who are, we all know the Misfits, J.R. Homestead and Molarity, and so they have their blog too, but they do the fun stuff too. So more people that enjoyed the Misfits, except for these.
It's fun to enjoy because politics is a horrible business usually, which is one of the reasons people actually pay attention to you or I, because we at least try and make fun of the whole damn thing, but because it can be so overwhelming and so enraging, and Misfits do a pretty good job of this. They do. They're funny people, usually.
They are.
Except for that one guy.
Yeah. So anyway, the fight goes back to them, but they would always attack the women. Little Miss Righty, Mo, JR, Alexandria, all of them. They were just the women. They'd immediately block the men or mute them out of the conversation and just sit there and harp on the women, even getting down into AVI filters and shit like that. So I gotta stop saying that. So anyway, they're garbage people.
Yeah, well, this is, I tried to ignore them after the last blow up. I kind of lost my cool on one of them because it's just dumb after a while. Some of this drama, and they've been using an out of context tweet of mine for over a year now to prove I don't like brown people. So I just finally lost it on one of them who finally blocked me, which was nice. But I had been trying to ignore this whole thing, and I hate to drag it out on the show because I know it's just like gossip. But poor Selena Zito, guys, if you're on Twitter, she is worth your follow and she's worth your support. It is at SALENZITO, and she is a great journalist. She does a lot of work. She traveled the country for her book. She spoke to endless people, and she's getting dragged by a group of horrible haters. So if you are on Twitter, please go out there and give her a little support. And hey, buy her book. That would be even cooler.
Yeah, I mean, she does good work. I've been a fan. I can't give her support because I'm not on Twitter at the moment.
Whose fault is that you're not on Twitter?
It is not my fault.
Twitter's fault.
That I'm not on it right now. Yeah, I'm going to be coming back. I've had my break. I'm going to be coming back.
Will you please? Yes. If just let them know, because I have people, even men at this point. I'm used to the broads. Oh my God, where's already? Is he coming back? And I'm like, yeah, he's coming back eventually. I don't know if he is or not. I was so sick of them asking me that I started wanting to tell them you left the country. I'm like, I don't know what he's doing. But
I don't know where he's monkeying around at.
I got men now. I got men asking me where you are. So get back, please. For me, for my sanity.
It makes me feel good.
I'm sure it makes you feel good, but it's starting to irritate the shit out of me. Oh, I said it again. I'm sorry, Rick.
I already turned the explicit tag on. You're fine.
Okay,
great.
Ladies and gentlemen,
awesome.
The following show may contain adult language and content and themes. Please don't let your children listen to this crazy shit. Thank you. That worked, right?
Oh, no, well, no, because we do have one of our listeners told us they do occasionally listen with their families. So,
well, they can tell us this is how you don't talk, and they listen to us. You don't sound like these two morons, and then their kids learn. It's awesome.
Yeah. Speaking of awesome. I'm really disappointed that Bettina Rodriguez Aguilera lost in Florida. She's the GOP candidate who claims that she was abducted by aliens.
You know, I didn't even hear that story until you brought it up.
Yeah, it was.
It's true.
It's so. You know, she didn't come in last though, so that gives me hope for Florida.
Yeah.
Come on, that would have been so great. That would have been like. Jerry Brown was a big UFO guy back in the day.
Well, yeah, Moonbeam.
But he's been governor twice, but he hasn't done anything with that. I mean, if you're gonna be that person,
right.
Whole heart. I mean, go in 100% because that's why people voted for you. They don't care what your policies are. You claim that you got abducted by aliens. They want that in Congress.
Right.
So.
Yeah, we don't have any crazy. Well, I mean, we have Corey Stewart, so I guess that's that's kind of close.
Right.
Dude is a train wreck. Oh my God. Hey Corey, someone said something about really nasty, racist in your team. Well, I can't control my team. Well, how can you control a state, dummy?
Right.
It's not going well. Oh my God, but good times. Yeah. Who was that one? What's his name in Florida?
Oh well.
DeSantis, who said the monkey thing, right?
I think so. I think that was the one who won in that district. But yeah, and even that.
Stop monkeying around, racist. Oh my God.
Yeah, we can't. It's a chink in the armor thing.
We should totally call this show something about monkey in the title, so people can scream at me all night about how racist we are.
Right.
That'd be awesome because they do.
You're gonna have to explain that for the people who didn't catch it.
Monkey.
The monkeying around thing.
Well, yeah, because it was a mayor or something who happens to be black. Well, DeSantis said something about how we shouldn't be monkeying around. And so Dan Rather even like, oh, this is so racist. I'm like, yeah, you're so full of crap. They took it and ran with it like they always do.
Yeah, I saw it on the Hill. So, and obviously they framed it. They framed it to make it sound like it was intentionally racist, not that they injected their own racism into it.
It needs to be intentional. They can't be creating a narrative. Otherwise, we hear what's happening with CNN. Nice segue with Lanny Davis. This has been the funniest damn story I have ever covered and read in my life.
Oh.
And watching CNN talking heads like Stelter and Darcy, and they're just trying to save face and that their story was accurate because they said basically that Lanny Davis had no comment, but then they used an anonymous source who happened to be Lanny Davis. That's the gist of how dumb this has gotten.
Fake, but accurate.
Fake. Well, he didn't say anything, but we're going to say he did say something and not use his name, which is really sideways and dirty. And so, Lanny basically said that, oopsie, I didn't know that, I didn't hear that Trump knew about the meeting at the tower with the Russians. And that's the big get you, because right now they've lost hope with the collusion thing in Russia. Because that's nothing coming of that so far. So then Cohen became the big nail in the coffin. But now it's like, well, if Cohen used Trump's own money to pay off Stormy, this is a nothing burger as well. And if he didn't know about the meeting, it's another nothing burger. It's just getting bad. It's so bad. And CNN really stepped in it this time. I mean, we said how bad they are. Anyway, this was like bad on nuclear levels of stupid. It's unbelievable.
They're just so they want to invent the news. They want there to be something there, and they want it to be their narrative. And when it isn't, they just fall apart hysterically.
You saw how they were reporting the gal who won in Arizona. What's her name? Was it McSally? Is that her name?
McSally.
And she was a combat vet, and she was one of the first fighter pilots that was a woman. I think she was the first fighter pilot that was a woman, and she's Republican. Well, CNN, Chris Chalitza, of all people, says, oh my God, look, the conservatives really lost in Arizona. I'm like, no, dumbass. This woman is more conservative. We didn't want crazy with Kelly Ward or Teo.
And that's what, okay, so They're calling Kelly Ward the conservative.
Yeah, no, she's not. She's terrifying.
Yeah.
She looks like she got kicked by a horse. But other than that, she scares the hell out of me.
It was one of my donkeys, and it was an accident. I'm sorry.
Her whole chin is missing. I don't get it. She creeps me out.
Wait, that was an accident? I thought she paid you for that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Someday you got to pay double for that kind of action.
I don't want to know. Thank you.
Well, yeah. So they're framing her as not a conservative.
Right. They're saying, look, the conservatives lost. No, we really didn't. We finally won because crazy lost.
Right.
This is what we want. Conservatives don't want crazy. It is the
tripping over themselves to Chriszilla and
Chriszilla.
Chriszilla.
Did you do that on purpose?
Yes.
Oh, that was funny, Chriszilla. I like that. Yeah, I'm going to use that.
Feel free to use it on Twitter.
I'm totally going to use that, and I'm not going to give you credit. Blah. But, dude, this has been funny as hell watching them spin. And then Brian Stelter supposedly is on vacation, but then he gets all mad at Caleb Hull, who's another writer, and he's messaging him, I'm on vacation, quit your hating. And I'm like, oh, my God, he's so going to use this DM. What are you doing?
So, wait, we're not supposed to discuss someone when they're on vacation?
We're not supposed to hate on Brian Stelter when he's on vacation, I guess.
No. I want to implement this rule right now, and I want every single person who has mentioned my name in a negative way for the last 2 weeks, I want them kicked off of Twitter right now.
I'll get right on it. Because, they're going to start regulating Google anyway.
These are the new rules. Oh, God. G did a really good job covering that in his earlier show.
I didn't listen because I was doing stuff with my children and getting stuff put away.
Yeah,
I'll have to catch the podcast.
G covered it really well. And there was one angle that I have said, he did the antitrust end of it. And the other end.
The smart stuff that I don't know anything about. Yep.
Yeah. The other end, this whole thing, people were talking about, well, we've got to sue Google and Twitter and Facebook for.
We don't.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem. Here's why you can't. Okay. First of all, you'd have to repeal Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act.
Which I have no idea what the hell that is, but okay.
It was a 1996 law that was set out to regulate indecency on the internet.
Well, lucky you.
That's why I'm constantly suspended.
That's why you're always in trouble. Gotcha.
But 230 wasn't originally in it. It was in the Senate bill. It was added later, and it was called the Internet Freedom and Family Empowerment Act. And what this did was it made it so online service providers couldn't be held liable for what people posted on it, because if that act wasn't put in place, you'd see a very different internet.
Sure.
If people would be worried about they'd be sued if I told, someone to eat a bag of dicks, whatever. So anyway.
You had to do that. Okay, yeah.
I did. So, but what it said was that internet service providers weren't publishers.
Oh, right. I get you now. I'm with you. I'm following. I got it.
All right. So, first of all, you'd have to repeal all of 230.
Right.
And if you repealed 230, even if you removed it tomorrow, it's still not against the law to discriminate against political affiliation.
Right.
So you would have to make political affiliation a protected class.
Oh, God.
And then you would have to say that websites are a public accommodation like hotels or restaurants. So you understand that working with PDA a lot.
Well, yeah, so, they want to basically make it a utility.
Well, yeah, well, even beyond a utility, they want to make it a public accommodation like a hotel or a restaurant.
No, and that's no. Don't
so
do
you
that.
can't. Yeah, you can't do that.
Well, here's the thing that they're forgetting, and this is why we keep making fun of the Democrats with Kavanaugh, is eventually when you do this crap, somebody else is going to be in charge you don't want in charge. And they're going to use this same crap to hurt you and do things you don't want done. This is why you don't do these dumb things.
See,
this is so dumb.
It's the same thing as the gun debate.
Yeah.
I mean, the First Amendment and the Second Amendment are really close to each other, and freedom of speech, and the reason why they're close to each other is because they're kind of intertwined. If you don't want to give up your rights to if you want to give up your rights to guns and have only the government have guns, then you have only the government telling you what you can and can't say too, because they're intertwined.
Right.
So if you want the government involved in the internet, but you don't want them to take your guns from you, you don't see that you are you have no consistency on that topic whatsoever.
Trump is literally Hitler. Let's make sure he has all the guns. This is who they are.
Trump is literally Hitler. Let's make sure he regulates what's said.
This is crazy. They're like, we want these things to be done. But this is what's bothering me is I'm seeing it on the right. I'm seeing people who are like, we're tired of being censored and we want to sue Twitter, which I thought was really funny. They actually are trying to sue Twitter.
when I first get suspended, I want to sue Twitter too, and then I'm like,
the problem
for what?
is, a judge actually said that they can sue Twitter because Twitter talks about allowing people to speak on their platform, and that now they're saying this is false advertising if they're blocking people who are on there. Now,
that actually got kicked out. That was.
But that's what I saw this morning.
That was actually reversed. The California Supreme Court went no. And this was the one time that they actually got it right. And this again goes back to Section 230.
Hilarious, because they were like, well, you know what? They're advertising that they're going to let you be on their site and talk, and now they're blocking you from doing that. I guess this might be something they can do. Breitbart, of course, covered that. I thought it was really funny because I'm like, well, here you go, Orty, and get to it. You got a case. But no, we don't want the government coming in. We don't want them regulating the internet search. We don't want them regulating Google. I don't care if Google is the biggest green penis on the planet. We don't want that. We don't want to give government any authority over what we're looking at, what we're searching, what comes back. The problem that Trump is having with the negative results is that people just write that much negative stuff about him.
Right, and this shows that Trump fundamentally doesn't understand how the internets work.
And that's fine. He's like, what is he, 71, 72?
Yeah, and that's, my mom's 83. She doesn't know how it works either.
I don't even know the ageist funny. But the reality is, my in-laws are older, and they don't get all of it. It's just part of how it works. And I'm sorry, Donald, a lot of people hate you, and they write miserable, nasty things about you. That's what it happens. I don't search myself because I know I'm not going to like what I see. I mean, just you don't.
I wouldn't even know what name to search anymore.
You're like, well, no, that's not it. No, that's not it. No, you play some crazy blog from some woman who's obsessed with you. Today he changed his name again. He's hiding from me.
Well, going back to 230 also, talking about California, state Supreme Courts and everything, is in 2013, the attorneys general of 47 states sent a letter to Congress requesting that the criminal and civil immunity from 230 be removed. And the ACLU came out and argued that removing these protections, it wouldn't take long for the vibrant culture of free speech to disappear from the web. Ironically, that's kind of what's happened, though. Is that, by not removing those protections, you have Twitter and Facebook and Google, who are the big three right now. And like she said, that's right now. That could change. All of a sudden, Minds could do the right thing, and everybody switches to Minds tomorrow.
Right.
Be awesome.
Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen overnight. I mean, remember, Facebook was a thing.
Yeah, I get that. But here's the thing with Minds: it is clunky as hell.
It's new,
and people are programmed in these things, and it's not Minds' fault. That people who are looking to connect in a way that they do on Twitter, and let's face it, that's what Minds is. They've got to get more in that same kind of routine or people aren't going to bother.
The only thing that really bugs me about Minds is it doesn't auto-complete when you put in an ad.
No!
Like if I start typing Politabunny, that drives me nuts because I can't remember everybody's even though I want to bring them into a conversation. But again, it's still new, and that's a feature,
I don't know what remember is. I'm like, I get that's a retweet, but my brain doesn't work like that. It's just, it has some growing to do. At least it's not Gab.
Oh, yeah.
But to be fair, Twitter from 5 years ago isn't Twitter of today either. It used to be.
But even then, even Twitter 5 years ago intrinsically made sense to my brain because it was programmed. And I hate
No, it didn't. That. No, it didn't.
Hey,
no. You told everybody how long it took for you to get used to Twitter and how many times you left it. So don't tell me that now.
No, this is not true. No, that's not true. I came on in 2009 and I hated it. And I came back in 2013 because I got suspended on Facebook 5 years ago. I figured it out, and then it ran in my head, and now it's part of how I do that. So this is where I struggle with Minds, is I am programmed a certain way. And it's not Minds' fault. It is just that's what works for me, and that's what's going to be hard for any site to compete with Twitter in that way.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I disliked Facebook when I first joined it because I couldn't blast Papa Roach at people every time they came by my page.
Oh, because of MySpace.
Yeah,
I hated MySpace. But and it's people have a certain way that they communicate, and they know these sites, and it's weird. They don't make the connection, and it's hard. So, but yeah, I think there's an issue with giving any government any kind of authority over what we're searching or what we're reading, what we're seeing. And people can say right now, well, we want Trump to figure it out. Great, but eventually he's not going to be president anymore.
Well, yeah, and I don't know, maybe no. You don't even want
No, I don't want anybody doing it. But
yeah, because you don't even want Congress involved in it either, because I mean they'll really screw it up.
Yeah, but you have people now who are like, well, I agree, Trump. We're being censored. You should do something about it. The problem is he'll do something about it, and then here comes another Obama down there, or Kamala Harris, God forbid, and we got a real problem because these people are batshit, and we don't want to give them control over anything.
That's on both sides, even the right. I mean, the only Orrin Hatch and Ted Cruz are the only politicians who really know how to use Facebook and Twitter. I'm sorry, but they do it right. I mean, Orrin Hatch is probably one of the funniest accounts that I ever followed.
Yeah, he does it well. He or his intern or his.
Yeah, I don't care if it's his intern or whatever. They do
a good job. They do a good job. And Ted Cruz is Ted Cruz. You can tell most of the time it's him.
Yeah. And he owns Deadspin, so who knows what Deadspin will become.
He talks a lot of trash. Oh my God. But we probably need to talk about John McCain passing. It's not something that is we can make fun of. But it did happen. Watching the reactions in the media has been very moving. It has been awful. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that when a Republican dies, what we see from the left, but we're seeing some of that from the right too, and that's really been awful. So,
because he made the cardinal sin of opposing Trump. So
he did some things that really pissed me off too. True story. He got me suspended on Twitter my first time.
That's right.
It's true, because I was really angry that he and Lindsey Graham were saying bloggers shouldn't have First Amendment protection because they were not the press or whatever. And he was calling everybody wacko bird, and that really ticked me off too. So I went after him, suspended within, a week of having my account. And I said,
I don't necessarily disagree with that, because bloggers want all the protection of the First Amendment, but they don't want any responsibility that goes with it.
Well, some of us bloggers aren't like that. Thank you very much.
Well, not all of you, but that's what I'm saying is that I understand where he was coming from with that.
But it pissed me off. I'm like, no, they have every right to be out there speaking their minds and should be protected, just like any member of the press. Well, it didn't go well. I did get suspended, and I had a little email, these are the tweets that got you in trouble, and they were all to John McCain. I was like, oh, whoopsie, my bad. So then it became a joke that John McCain hated me so much he got me suspended. His daughter, actually, Megan, did block me. So when he passed, I had a moment of, oh, my God, this is really awful and sad. And even I was able to talk and say, hey, I didn't always agree with him. He really ticked me off on Obamacare, and he ticked me off with the First Amendment stuff. But we put that aside because we are better people than they are, and we give our mourning, and we pray, and we give our respect to this man. And horrible things from both sides of the aisle after that.
And okay, here's what I thought. This again falls into Twitter is not real life, and 200 million people heard about John McCain dying, didn't give a shit or said that's a shame. 2 million people posted something on Facebook or Twitter with an RIP or a nice meme, and 20,000 people got into a fight over it. So, I mean, and that's the amplification of social media, is it looks like everybody is being a horrible twat, when it's really,
there are some really horrible
I broke that down to do 1% of each.
You did math.
I did math. Nobody said there was going to be math, but I did math.
I was told there would be no math.
What?
I was told there would be no math. I quit.
Oh, that works. But no. The problem is, though, it's amplified, and the loudest and the most awful are what you hear and what you see. And people it was like what happened with poor Molly Tibbetts when it became apparent that she was of the leftist persuasion and that she had been very much an open border supporter and a supporter of sanctuary cities. People were like, well, she got what she deserved. These are the disgusting people that the media is trying to frame as the right now. So it is really difficult not to see that as real life, because I know, and you know, that these people sit in their basements and eat Hot Pockets and jerk off to anime. But at the end of the day, the media is using these jerk offs to pretend they are who we are. And the idiots on the other side are so anxious to hate that they're like, yeah, screw those haters. And it's an endless cycle. So while it's not real life, the media knows people are too damn dumb to know the difference, and they use it all the time.
Well, no, they do that with everything. I mean, look at the Madden tournament where the kids shot up the place. All right. I mean,
terrible.
Again, they're using that. Oh, look, toxic masculinity and the violence of video games.
Yep.
Well, because that's a narrative they have to rehash. If it had been a Dungeons and Dragons convention, they would have done the same thing. They would have brought the devil worship shit back up from the 80s.
Oh my God, yeah, I remember that. Oh my God,
they would have resurrected that and heavy metal music.
Geraldo Rivera, I can't talk. Geraldo Rivera had him on a show.
Yeah,
he interviewed all the Satanists. Oh my God, that was so crazy.
But you see, that's the thing, is that they take the most ridiculous fringe to make the news out of. Right. And like you just said, with Geraldo, getting the Satanists who played D&D, that was a very small niche for him to have to go find.
Oh my God,
he had better luck there than Al Capone's vault.
Okay, it was so scary, though, that like even my little Midwestern town, we were all scared that the Satanists were going to get us on Halloween, so we were all paranoid. I mean, it was so dumb. But they amplify stupid and pretend it's the reality.
Jerry Springer made a career out of it.
And this is what, but this is
so did Morton Downey Jr. I miss Morton Downey Jr.
Oh, I do too. He was great. He was so much fun.
He said the most moronic things, and then I realized that his logo was a mouth and not a brain. So,
well, he knew what he was doing. He was brilliant. He was brilliant.
Spray paint the swastika on backwards.
Springer is also a marketing genius, kind of like Marilyn Manson. He just knows he was sold.
Right.
But it's really freaking me out. Because I really thought I was just being paranoid about things with the media, but when you start covering them, and they really are feeding this line of, this is who the right is, when they're like Kelly Ward. They're saying, this is not, the conservatives wanted this crazy batshit woman, and they didn't get her, haha, they got the fighter pilot. Well, that's who we wanted,
Right. I mean,
but that's the problem, is they are so anxious to frame us as the horrible, that 20,000 or whatever, that
right.
we are the real people are getting lost. And that's why I have a problem when people say, well, this isn't real life. The problem is it's affecting real life. And it's freaking me the hell out. With the Jacksonville shooting thing, people immediately were like, after the Luscious, Dana and Chris. And one guy said she won't get it until her own kids are murdered. I mean, Twitter did nothing. They yawned, Yeah. They did eventually lock the guy for a whole 12 hours.
Woohoo.
Hey, a lock. Well, shit, he really screwed up for a lock.
I got permanently suspended for saying slunt when everybody else was saying, never mind.
Someone else said pansy, too, and got suspended.
Yeah, Varric the sarcastic Jew. He got a 7-day lockout for saying pansy.
Pansy. But, these idiots can threaten Dana's children and get a 12-hour lock.
Isn't pansy a Hasidic curse word? No, I'm just playing.
No, the problem is pansy is a flower, but it's also an effeminate dude, and so that's being, I guess, it's rude to a group or a protected class, and so yada, yada, yada. But it's not bad to threaten Dana's children because Twitter is stupid. But what it turns out is this is a young man who got angry at a video game tournament that he was not winning, and he shot 2 people and then himself. The media, of course, also frames that 3 people are dead. They leave out one of them as the gunman. They do this shit on purpose. They don't want to admit one of the dead is the bad guy.
Okay, I'm going to say something about esports here, and that there is real money in esports now.
Oh, my husband told me about the same thing, and that it is so competitive, and people it's almost dirty that people sell players and buy players, and it's real money.
Yeah,
he kind of explained to me why it's different than just playing an old video game.
Oh, no. I mean, this is serious. And, once again, you could say, oh, look at, violent video games. Well, this was Madden. Okay, it's football. So, and to say, well, he probably played other games, too, that made him that way. Well, okay, yes, he probably did play other games. But the fact of the matter is that he is competing at Madden. So he lives and breathes Madden.
He won.
That's like saying a real football. Right.
You saw that he won his local tournament like last year or something.
Yeah.
So this was a serious Madden player. Yes.
Right. Yeah. So, and then you have Radio Free Tom talking about what a joke esports are. Now, I'm not for putting it in the Olympics. I think that's the dumbest thing that's been put.
Thomas says some dumb crap this week anyway. We can get to Tom here in a minute.
Okay. We're just going to do a whole segment on Tom.
Tom really ticked me off. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, I was just saying, there's real money on it. The Twitch TV, that is how it started, was televising people playing video games. And now you have teams and you have endorsements. And I mean, if you lose an endorsement for something, that's like a football player losing their Nike endorsement.
Yeah,
if you lose
it's a
your
big
Razor,
deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So, and great. You know what? Giving doughy people who aren't athletically inclined a chance to become, on the same level as baseball players and football players, I think that's awesome.
But
yeah,
and they tried, of course, immediately they went to the NRA. Then they started blaming Florida, although the guy had his gun from his home state.
Baltimore, Maryland.
Where, of course, Martin O'Malley is saying, oh, Florida, get your shit together. Well, he's your state. It's just clockwork every time.
Yeah, every time it's the same. You can watch the narrative click into place. All they do is just change the name.
Yeah.
You know, the names of the victims and the name of the perpetrator are different, but the narrative clicks in the same.
Well, and this is where I've gotten in my career is the first thing I think is, oh no, this is horrible, this poor people. The second thing I think is, holy shit, I'm going to write about this for 3 days because people are going to be dumb about it for 3 days. Then the third thing I do is I go check Dana Loesch's timeline because I know these morons are going to go after her. Every time. Boom, boom, boom. That's exactly what happens with me. Feel bad, pray, think about how dumb it's going to be on social media, and then go check on Dana. That is it. Yeah, well, and it's interesting because
you know what? It's good to have a routine.
Well, it is, and people started blaming.
I learned that in rehab.
Gamers, and video games are violent. Gamers are horrible, and they start blaming games. Of course, both sides are blaming the game. I go up and talk to my son, who does play Fortnite, and I said, "Did you hear about this?" And he said, "Well, yeah," but he didn't know that the guy had taken his own life. So I kind of explained what had happened, and my son just said, "What kind of idiot does that?" And I was so happy that he got it, that this is not right, that there's something wrong with this person other than playing a video game. This guy is dangerous outside of a video game.
But, okay, here's the thing, though, is that, okay, because it's video games and because it's, how many times did we used to hear the story, but we don't hear the story anymore about the college student who had the free ride on a sports scholarship, loses it, gets kicked off the team or whatever, and then does something similar. I mean, not shoot up a tournament, but, take their own life or whatever.
Right. Oh, terrible.
Whenever you get into a competitive, air quotes, sport, you have this kind of pressure. And, it's not something stable people do, but it's in any form. I mean, you don't hear about it in rowing, but I'm sure it happens at Yale.
Well, it doesn't even have to be sport related. It's any kind of high pressure area where if you don't perform well, you're done. That can be sports, it can be writing, it can be stage, it can be any of that. Because the moment you have an issue, when you're in that little zone and that goes away, some people who are already programmed to be in trouble are really going to have an issue. And this is what happened with that kid.
Right.
I know he wasn't a kid, but I'm so old. Everybody who's like 30 and under is a kid. So tough shit. You're a kid.
Yeah.
You're not a kid. You're older than me, but he is a kid. Yeah. And so,
it's a tragedy, but I mean,
horrible.
Yeah.
For the loss.
So let's recognize the narrative as it comes out.
And this is what the narrative is always going to be. NRA has blood on its hand. And Alyssa Milano and the idiots were like, use this on Tuesday when you go vote. Be so angry. Are you kidding? We don't even know how many are dead. And Alyssa Milano's like, make sure you take this into account when you vote on Tuesday. Oh, my God.
They can't wait. They can't wait to dance on the grave. And that goes with the John McCain thing too. And that it's what do you gain by doing that at the moment of tragedy? The moment he dies, or the moment that happens. What do you gain by being the first to be edgy and posting that? I mean, is there a prize you win that I'm not aware of? That for excellent grave dancing in 2018 or something. I don't know. I don't get it. Let the body get cold before you're going to run him down. Yeah. It's especially with the John McCain thing is you're not going to go and piss on his grave. So what, you tweet?
You're so tough, Oh my God, look at you. You talk smack, and he was a rhino. Get a life. The man just passed away. Jennifer Rubin is crapping all over Lindsey Graham, who's crying on national television, who's just lost his best friend. And she's like, well, I hope he looks back on the past year and figures out he did something wrong. I'm like, bitch, please. His best friend just died. Give it a week before you're telling him he's a horrible person for having what he's done politically. Not everything is political.
Well,
I mean, she really irritated me almost as much as Tom did. Hey.
All right, let's do our Tom segment.
Tom is telling people to vote for Democrats.
Of course he is.
Tom is an asshat.
Oh my God. No, but here's the thing with Tom is I used to really enjoy Tom. He and I followed each other for all through the primary. We agreed on a lot. He's a smart guy. Actually, he was supposed to come on the show at one point.
Yeah, we were going to have him on the show before. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So I actually have always respected him, and it's like he's got an axe to grind now.
Well, yeah. again, this
it feels personal. It's not like he's trying to help with the movement and make the country better. It's like, well, the Republicans have pissed me off, so we're gonna punish them by putting Democrats in power. Forget that it punishes the whole damn country. Forget that it raises our taxes and it makes abortion easier to get. It kills unborn babies and makes you lose money. But GOP, we're gonna show you.
Yeah, ruining the economy to own the conservatives. What
the hell? I mean, Trump may be a miserable prick, but he's got a great GDP. He's got job growth. Black employment's up to what was it, 36% or something, the highest it's ever been.
Yeah, the unemployment rate is the lowest it's been with minorities, black and Hispanic.
Unbelievable. The amount of jobs are coming in. I mean, say what you will about him personally, because I will. But I think Trump is doing some good stuff.
Yeah.
It's like that cartoon. If you seen, you weren't on because you've been suspended. Anyway, there's a cartoon where one guy's in a blue shirt and he's like, rah, 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 everything Trump does is awesome. And then there's a guy in a green shirt and he says, rah, 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 everything Trump does is Hitler. And they're screaming at each other. And then a dude in a red shirt comes up and they say, whose side are you on? He's like, well, I like Trump and he does something that's good. And when he does something bad, I call him out. And then they both attack the guy in the red shirt.
So basically, yes.
That's me every day. That's my life.
That's us. That's our listeners. I mean, that
is normal people.
Yeah, that's normal people. That's the 200 million I was talking about who either didn't care or just, that's a shame.
Bad. Poor Megan. Poor Cindy. But it was just like, that's me, because they're all like cuck and traitor and racist and Nazi, and I'm like, I hear that every day.
Yeah, just like Chad said, stock market, NASDAQ broke 8,000 for the first time ever.
Yeah, I mean, so, I can't. Okay, I
granted, this is all fleeting, and it could all drop.
I get it. There's things that are not
One
great.
One bad tweet, and it can all go south.
Well, but he tweets a lot of dumb shit, and things are still okay. So maybe people have figured out to ignore him on Twitter. He did actually before, and I got accused of ignoring you because I went online and I answered CNN's PR group who was chewing out Donald Trump. Oh my God. So Donald Trump is like, haha, CNN's getting dragged because they're liars and fakes. CNN's PR goes, we're not fake news, Mr. President. So I had to come in and say, hey, tell us more about Lanny Davis. And so then, Red Tober was like, why are you ignoring Horty on the show? But I think we've gotten so used to what Trump does when he tweets that we don't go, oh my God, he did that. It's like, oh my God, I'm surprised when he doesn't do that anymore.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's right after the election, I said, God, it would be great if he was presidential. And I realized
what the hell is presidential anymore?
It doesn't matter. It just doesn't.
Cannot be it anymore.
Oh, what about our image in the world? Well,
they hate us anyway.
I don't want to be jingoistic here, but who cares?
They hate us anyway.
Right.
Nobody goes, oh, I love Americans. They just don't like us. I'm sorry. It is a reality of being the superpower.
But it's always been that way. I mean, back in the 80s, it was known as the ugly Americans abroad.
Let's accept who we are. Let's embrace who we are. And let's go with what we got. And right now, things are good. I mean, my family's like, hey, we can make an extra house payment this year because we're tax cuts. And, there are people moving to the state for jobs and
crumbs. It's all crumbs.
Friggin' Nancy Pelosi. But I don't understand. And what was nice is even people who are never Trump are like, yo, Tom, this is stupid. So it's like, this is bad.
Well, okay. Tom wrote a book about the death of expertise. And that should have had an asterisk in it or a parenthetical saying, does not apply to me. Because when he runs his mouth about the esports, when he runs his mouth about anything that really isn't naval nuclear power, I really think he's, he's kind of tripping over his own dick there. But,
he puts I get you. He is. And it's really bad because the people he's alienating were people who really liked him and respected him. And it's a mess. And, I think if you're to a point, as a never Trump, I was never Trump hardcore. I will own that. I will say I did not think he was going to win. I was wrong. I mean, I'm happy to be humble in that. But if you cannot accept that this man is president and you cannot accept that we have to do what we can with what we have, then it's more about what's with you.
You're not living in reality.
No, it's like with Rick Wilson, who I used to adore. There was a tweet where he was being really nasty to Kathy Griffin 8 years ago. Then 2 days ago, oh my God, I missed Kathy's concert here. Boo, hiss. I'm like, what the hell is going on? If you lose your ability to be a Republican or a conservative because you can't stand Donald Trump as president, you were never a conservative to begin with.
Well,
and I'm sorry. This is the reality of you having principles, and these are the people saying, "Well, my principles won't accept him." Well, your principles are not about handing the country back to the frickin' Democrats and hoping they raise our taxes and kill the unborn and get us nuked. I mean, that's not how this works.
Well, I don't know that has anything to do with conservatism. You can say Republican, but conservatism is independent of that whole thing.
But the
that is just that is just.
I get it.
That's political bullshit. There. That's
The point of it is, if you cannot stick with the principles of what you believe to be a conservative and you want to hand it over to the liberals and progressives and socialists to teach those people a lesson, you're just not there.
I'm with you on that. That's like Jennifer Rubin still claiming, it's like, WTF, I love abortions now because Trump is president.
Yeah. I mean, no, then you were never a conservative to begin with.
Right.
If you can switch on something that important that quick, then you were never what you said you were to begin with. She'd be better off to accept that she's always been progressive. You have progressives that are Republicans.
Yeah, you can be a progressive Republican. You can't be a progressive conservative, but you can be a
backwards.
Yeah. I mean, most of Congress was progressive Republicans. So,
this is true. Poor Rand Paul. He's on an island, man. Did you see he endorsed Gary Johnson for the Senate?
Oh God.
Hey, I voted for the guy, so I got nothing to say.
I know, but what state's he running from? Running for New Mexico?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I think you said it right the first time. He's running from New Mexico trying to get to DC.
He's running from New Mexico. You know what? Let's bring back Webb too. Hell with it. Just bring them all back.
But it has been that kind of week, and it's always that kind of week. It really is.
Rand, what are you doing?
But Rand tried to defund Planned Parenthood again. He's like, "Hey guys, we can't do this anymore," and 2 Republicans kept him from doing it again. Yeah. Guess which 2?
Oh.
Collins and Murkowski.
Yeah, always
those 2.
Always, yeah.
If they don't vote for Kavanaugh, I'm going up to Maine. I'm going to Alaska, and it is on because this is ridiculous. You ladies are not Republicans if you're not going to confirm this guy. I'm
going to go back to it. He is the most bland, milquetoast,
Did you
boring.
See the big story today was, he was more concerned with basketball than politics in college. Well, most friggin' college kids are more concerned with basketball than politics, dumbass. That's normal.
I was more concerned in making sure I knew where my red Solo cup was in college than politics. Does that mean I can't?
I was in the theater every day. Shut up. But it's true. I didn't have time to think about politics. I was more concerned about, which character I was playing or what set I was building or which Russian class I wasn't attending that I should have been at. I mean, that was where I was. And so, oh my God, Kavanaugh's normal.
Yeah, that is their whole argument. Everything they come out against Kavanaugh is he's a normal person.
Yeah.
Oh,
and Jacob came up with something good in chat. But then they turn around and they're like, well, Beto is cool in Texas because he was a rocker and a skateboarder and he got arrested for DUI and burglary in the 90s, so he's rad. But boring old Kavanaugh liked basketball in college, so he's the bad guy.
Yeah. But you know what? That's typical, though, in the fact that, he was such a rebel. He's a good progressive, but, he was boring as shit. He's a bad conservative.
Yeah. What? No. And it's funny now that I've mentioned I actually took Russian in college, so now I'm going to be accused of being a Russian bot.
You are a Russian bot. You are an old Russian bot.
I had to drop it because I was failing it. So it was like first thing in the morning, and I'm up at like 3 a.m. with set, and
I can relate.
Talking to my then husband on the phone until 3 and 4 in the morning, and so I was not making it to Russian. So yeah,
I made it through half a semester of Japanese. I can.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I thought, Russian is such an interesting language. It's boring as hell, and it's really hard to learn. So it did not go well. But I came out better for it, and I don't want to be a Supreme Court justice anyway. I don't have the patience for it.
I don't.
I don't like people. I'd be like off with their head all the time. That'd be all.
I just, even if I were to join the Supreme Court in 30 years, I just couldn't see myself constantly nudging Ruth Bader Ginsburg awake.
God, she'd be 108 or something.
She's 108 now.
Oh my God, Lincoln appointed her. Oh my God. Oh, that's so funny. Oh my God, we're almost done.
Wait, it was Lincoln? I thought it was Washington. I thought it was Washington that appointed her.
Could have been. No, that's way too. Lincoln, I thought was Lincoln, or it could have been.
No, it couldn't have been.
Woodrow
Both of those
Wilson.
were Republicans. Yeah.
Oh, Woodrow Wilson did it. That's who. That bastard. He's like the worst. He's like supposedly one of the worst presidents ever. I had no idea. I don't pay attention.
Oh, really?
No. You have like 2 minutes. Table Woodrow Wilson until next.
No, go research.
I know.
Wilson. He is the worst person ever.
Andrew Jackson. Sorry, Andrew Jackson was pretty gross too.
Yeah, no, okay. YouTube it. Stu Bergier from the Glenn Beck show. He does this show called Wonderful World of Stu. He has a segment on it, Letters from Woodrow Wilson in Hell, and it's kind of like Woodrow Wilson doing an advice column in hell.
Oh God, yeah, I'll look it up. But Andrew Jackson was pretty bad. Founder of the Democratic Party, actually, and horrible man, responsible for lots of dead people. So yeah, good times. I guess we have to go.
Yeah, that's Rick is being subtle.
Shut up, damn it! Here's your outro. Okay, so your plan is to have another account here someday.
Yeah, I'm planning to have an account in the next couple days. I've just had a really busy week. In the meantime, find me on Minds as @TheRoadBeer or @Orty Packard on Minds.
And you can find me at POLITIBUNNY at PolitiBunny on Twitter, and I also write for this little site called Twitchy.com. All right, guys, thanks for being here this week. We will be back live next week, so keep your sense of humor and stay out of jail and all that good stuff.
Cornbread!